Your follower count does not change the amount of experience you have. Sell what you know. What you shouldn't do is wait for months and years to get enough followers thinking you're not allowed to talk about what you know until you have a certain number of followers. So as you know, we literally just launched our new product, which is Reels Millionaire 2.0, which is very exciting. And launches are always funny. And I know we talked about launches, so I wasn't going to talk about launches today because we went over launches for a long time the other day. But launches are always funny because there's such a huge build up to launches, but then there's always a bit of a letdown when you actually launch, because no one actually buys straight away. Well, not many people buy straight away. You know, they end up faffing around for a while and they don't decide to buy straight away. So, you know, it's not like you go, oh, it's ready to go, it's live, and then you kind of look at your bank account and it's just like, grrr, you know, it's like, doesn't actually happen. There's always a bit of a delay to the money actually coming in and people actually kind of like organizing themselves and deciding and so on and so on. It's always a bit of a sort of a really high effort. I mean, I've been working probably, 16 hours a day, every day for the last 2 weeks to kind of get this thing built and live. And then it's, it's a bit of a sort of air balloon pop, because then you get some initial sales coming in, but a lot of those are going to come in, a little bit later on. So what I thought we would talk about today is along the lines of a launch. Well, what I wanted to talk about is scarcity and urgency, because I think those two things absolutely crucial to make sales, particularly in today's environment, and how you can leverage scarcity and urgency to make significantly more sales, but also how you also, of course, create more trust with that as well, and some ways to be able to do that. And within that, I thought it would also be good to talk about some of the landing pages and funnels that are working for us and how scarcity and urgency appears on those landing pages. Because where most people start when it comes to making sales is, firstly, they don't think enough about their offer. Now, we've talked about offers on a separate podcast and we've laid out exactly how we build offers, so we don't need to go over that. Refer to that other podcast episode for that. But the second thing that they don't do enough of is think about how to build a system for bringing those people in and how to present their offer. Now, there are lots and lots and lots of different types of funnels out there, and there's lots of ads with lots of different people who talk about the magic funnel and the magic formula, and this funnel's getting me this amount of money and that funnel's getting me that amount of money. And what tends to happen with most people is they end up making funnel after funnel after funnel and testing thing after thing after thing over and over and over again, and not really making any significant sales with anyone. And I've been guilty of that in the early days of business. The number of funnels that I built was just crazy. It was crazy. And the reason why it's great I managed to do that is because I actually have, quite a lot of experience in copywriting and funnel building. So because I could do it, I did do it. But a mistake that I made in the early days was making way too many funnels and way too many different ways for people to actually buy from you, thinking that there was some kind of magic funnel, magic formula, magic thing that would actually work and would actually kind of generate the money coming into the business. When actually, 2 years in, full circle, having run almost every funnel on the planet, I can tell you that actually I wanted to share like the top 3 that we use that work for everybody every time.
The Code Tribe podcast is powered by Pensight. I want to take this opportunity to tell you more about Pensight and how much value it can provide you and your coaching business.
Pensight is an all-in-one platform for coaches and educators that enables you to quickly and easily build a highly credible page and sell your knowledge with one-to-one sessions, group coaching, courses, Q&As, digital products, and bundles. Payments, scheduling, video calling, client communications, and everything else is taken care of.
All it takes is 5 minutes to set up, and it's free. It's the smartest way to kickstart your coaching business. Sign up to Pensight today at pensight.com.
And can we just get a sort of a definition from your side on what you mean by saying funnels? Just because I feel like everyone has their own definition, and it would be nice to be aligned on what do you do? Yeah.
A funnel is essentially just a series of landing pages that all flow through to one specific result. So unlike a website, which is distributed pages that cover all different types of interactions, like about me pages, testimonial pages, but also, products and features and pricing and so on and so on and so on. You've got lots and lots of different pages. A funnel covers all of those things on one single page and then leads into other offers that are extended extensions of the original offer. So you could have a funnel where the first page is the main product and then the second page is a mastermind for that main product, and so on and so on. But everything within the funnel was related to one specific interaction and one specific experience. And they're much, much more effective at generating sales, because with a website, you just direct people to a website and suddenly they've got 100 different places where they could go. With a funnel, it is just one place to go. One place to go, one interaction, one user journey that all pushes them through to one specific result. The problem becomes, of course, there are lots and lots of different types of funnels that people speak about. You would have seen funnels that are called VSL funnels, which are video sales letters, which is essentially like a 5-minute video. Funnels for challenges. So it's, take my 2-week challenge. Funnels for boot camps that might be like a 2 or a 3-day webinar. You might have funnels for just the product themselves, so it's a direct product sale funnel. You might have funnels that are for free training, so download my free training, and then it's called a tripwire, which is the second page is then a product offer. Like, there's loads and loads of different funnels that you could run, and I do think a lot of people's heads spin when it comes to, well, which one should I actually be running, and which one's going to work for me? And I would say, look, there's no right or wrong answer to that, but there are some specific funnels that we have found that work really, really well after testing all these different funnels. And what I would say to anyone who's starting off in this space is to just keep it as simple as possible, because the complexity isn't at the front end of the funnel. The complexity is in the fulfillment in the back end, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But let me give you some examples of funnels that sound good but are actually really, really difficult. So challenge funnels are a classic example of a really complicated funnel for a really protracted sales sequence. So a challenge funnel might be, it's the 2-week, fat loss challenge. It's your 14 days of training that are going to help you lose X amount of weight in X amount of time. That's your challenge funnel. And they work well in the sense that the lead generation and the lead cost is pretty cheap. You get a lot of people coming in, they're like, it's a free challenge, let me take the free challenge, let me do the free challenge. Isn't that good? And suddenly I'm getting cheap leads. And so people think, because the leads are cheap, because I'm giving away so much, I'm giving away 14 days worth of training, and maybe you're doing a coaching call every other day, and then maybe you're giving away templates and resources, and then you're building out a mini course, which is 14 days long, and so on and so on. Because you're giving away so much stuff, you're going to get a lot of people sign up to this thing. So, organically, you're going to generate a lot of leads. And in ads, you're going to generate a lot of cheap leads because a lot of people want the challenge. The problem becomes the actual commitment from those people to do the challenge, whether they're actually likely to show up to the challenge. How many of those people are just kind of free people that just kind of want to walk around and find free stuff? And then even if they do the challenge, how many of those people can you actually convert in the back end to sales? So let's say I did a challenge funnel and I got, 200 people doing my challenge. Only maybe 10% of them maximum would actually do the challenge for more than, say, 2 days, actually be committed. Because, what's the chance of someone meeting a stranger and then go, I want to do your challenge, Mr. Stranger, and I'm going to turn my whole life over and commit to this thing for you, Mr. Unproven Person? It's very unlikely, right? So the number of people that actually complete this challenge is extremely low, extremely low. And then, of course, the number of people that are going to actually show up to your live streams and your coaching sessions are very, very low. And the number of people that go through your portal and do the actual lessons in your portal are also going to be very low. So it works well in big volume. If you're bringing thousands and thousands of people into your challenge, then it can work really, really well. And the numbers can come out, particularly if you're running ads. But for most people, for 99% of people, they don't have that kind of volume. So what's going to happen is actually not many people are going to actually do the work. Not many people will show up to the calls. And then those people may or may not be easy to actually then convert into sales appointment and sales themselves. And one thing that drives a lot of sales, of course, is peer pressure. So when other people are buying something, more people feel obligated to buy it as well. So the problem with challenge funnels is if you don't create that groundswell of purchases, it's hard to get other people to purchase. And because you won't have a lot of people completing your thing, then, the whole thing becomes very difficult. So my general advice to people is avoid challenge funnels because they're very, very high complexity. Very high. Because of course now suddenly, and now you're DMing and messaging all these people in your Facebook group and wherever your community is, and you're trying to get people on the phone, and you're hitting hard with the sales content and so on and so on. It becomes really difficult, and a lot of work. And also quite hard to turn into something sustainable. Yeah, because even after you've done it, okay, yeah, sure, you will make some sales. Are you going to make enough sales to cover the whole month? Maybe, maybe not. Even if you did, you'd have to run the whole challenge all over again the following month. And now you've already burned a whole bunch of your interested people. And how likely are they to re-opt into the challenge in month 2 and month 3 and month 4? So it's not very sustainable without ads, because you're not getting in front of new people, and they're not going to keep opting into your challenge over and over again. They've either decided that they want to buy or not through that format. So challenge funnels, mini course funnels, those kind of funnels, very high complexity, very high upfront effort, not a huge amount of sales in the back end, unless you're really scaling with these things. So my general advice is don't bother. For now, don't bother. And, until you have a better sense of exactly how to run this thing. So that's the first one. Lead magnets and freebies can work well, and then I'll talk to you, but you've got to follow up those leads. So most people I know have literally thousands of leads that have just gone cold. They've got this ebook going that they've been generating leads for, and people have been downloading their ebook for like a year, and they've got all these email addresses, and they've never communicated with those people, they've never sent a message to them, they've never sent a newsletter or kept those people warm in any way. So they've got this big database of emails that's not generating any sales whatsoever. And they think that if they do ever launch, because they have this big database of emails, they'll therefore make a whole load of sales, because they've already got this big database of email, which of course they won't, because those people are completely cold. And trying to reactivate those people is very, very difficult. And, they're going to be like, oh, who are you again? Oh, yeah. Oh, did I download your ebook like a year ago? I don't know who you are. Whatever. Unsubscribe. Right? So, they're not reliable either. So if you're going to run a lead magnet or a free training, once you capture that person's details, you need to then be following up with that person and selling to that person almost immediately. So what we tend to do is, for anyone who downloads a lead magnet, we'll tend to do a 7-day offer to that person, and it will count down on the offer, which is where the urgency comes in. So if you just give something away indefinitely forever, and anyone could get it at any time, there is no scarcity to that thing, and there is no urgency to buy it. So therefore, they won't actually take the action to buy it. And we made a nice sort of, how much did we make? We launched yesterday and we closed 50k in sales yesterday, and we did that because we put a $150 off coupon for launch day and a whole bunch of bonuses for launch day if you bought on the day. So that's again the scarcity and urgency. The scarcity was a bunch of bonuses that you're going to lose if you don't buy on launch day. The urgency was $150 or it goes away if you don't buy on launch day. So by adding that scarcity and urgency, your funnel becomes something that can actually work. Whereas a lead magnet, which is just download my ebook, oh, I've got your email address, great, whatever, that doesn't work. You don't do anything. So you've got to push people into a result as soon as you get those leads in. Now, there's different ways to do that. Obviously, you could do an email sequence where it's like, oh, I downloaded your thing. Now you're emailing them saying, hey, look, do you want to join our membership or join my program or book a call or whatever, and you've got 7 days and time's running out, or you could be calling those people, or you could be DMing those people. But whatever you do, you've got to get involved with those people. And this is why 90% of funnels don't work for people, is because they make the funnel, they get the lead, and then there's no scarcity and urgency on the back end. It's just, oh, you're in my world now, I guess you're going to buy from me. No. And the funny thing is, and this is something that we've learned, is whether they watch the training or not doesn't actually really affect whether they'll buy from you. Right? Because we used to be like, oh yeah, look, if we give away tons and tons of value and make a mini course and, give away all this stuff and show that we know our stuff and so on and so on and so on. If we do all of that, then they'll see that we're for real and therefore they'll want to buy. No. Well, most of them won't watch all of it anyway. But actually, so many of them, so many people that we've closed, will find them through lead magnets and through, free funnels. And they'll go, oh yeah, I saw your thing, and then all you need to do is just get in touch with them and just tell them a little bit more about yourself. They don't actually have to consume the thing you've given away at all. It's just that funnel becomes the qualifier to, yes, I'm interested in what you do and the thing that you do. Assuming you then make them an offer, which is based on the thing that they downloaded, they're actually good. They don't even need to watch the thing at all. But again, it's that you have to have that follow-up. You have to have that scarcity and urgency and actually do some follow-up to the people that are actually downloading your thing.
But I have a question. So let's say, because obviously funnels you said are built of landing pages, so maybe multiple landing pages. Let's say I have a freebie that I will download. Will there be another landing page sending me to another product, or how does the funnel look like from a like on a big scale?
Yeah, so if you just have a freebie, assuming you just have a freebie that just goes freebie and then thank you page, then the next thing you're going to want to do is send them emails or call them or DM them and start up a conversation and push them towards a specific offer. Now, an alternative is you can have a freebie to what's called a tripwire, which might be then an offer after the freebie. So it's like, oh, hey, you downloaded our ebook. Here's a one-time offer that you could get to join our membership for X amount of money, or a one-time offer to get this course for X amount of money. And you can make them a one-time offer, and some of them might convert into a one-time offer. Assuming that one-time offer is under the $500 ballpark, usually under the $200 ballpark, then you can make sales with that. It is possible to make sales with that, but again, you kind of need more volume. And with anything, particularly with funnels, is there is no right or wrong for this stuff. So the best thing to do is just A/B test it and see what works and see what happens. But you can make a tripwire offer after your free thing and then see if they want to buy it. And to be honest, you may as well do that in a funnel because you've got their attention anyway. Thank you pages are pretty useless. They don't really do anything. So you may as well make them an offer after they've downloaded your thing in some way. You may as well make them an offer. And just to see whether they actually come through on the offer.
And from your experience, are there different ways to optimize the landing pages according to the stage of the funnel they're at?
Yes. There are. That is a big conversation. And what I thought we could do is talk about that in our next call. Because I think for landing pages, we want to start. There is a specific way that we build our landing pages, and every landing page is the same. And that's what gets us really, really high conversions on our landing pages. So what I thought we could do is walk through exactly how that looks on a different page. But that's such a big, expansive conversation that I thought we would save that for a dedicated day.
Then let me go back to scarcity and urgency and really ask you, I would say, the main question, like the first one to ask. Why is that working? Like, what is it within us that clicks when we see that last 7 pieces remaining or only 5 hours left? Like, what is it? Why do those things work?
We're in an environment right now which is a worldwide recession. We're in a cost of living crisis. We're also in a very low trust environment because people are getting constantly bombarded with new people, new strangers, giving them new offers and promising new and different things. So the natural instinct for people is to kind of shy away from that and to play it safe, as it should be. And so people are, very conservative with this stuff. So their natural instinct is going to be, well, I'll just kind of see how this plays out, or I can wait and get another offer, or I can wait and see what else comes along. Or maybe they look at the offer and they say, yeah, well, that offer isn't particularly unique. Maybe there's something better out there. So their natural instinct is going to be take no action. It's much easier to take no action than it is to actually take action. And when it comes to spending money, it's much, much easier to not spend money than it is to spend money. So why spend money? So if there isn't any specific need to spend money, i.e. there is no time scale, they could do it whenever they wanted to, they're not going to be able to do it. And you see this, this is marketing 101. It's not a new phenomenon. If you look at, Sky Media, they do early bird offers where it's like, oh, we're going to give you the first 3 months free on Sky to new customers only for the next 6 weeks, and so on and so on. Like, they'll always have, all the big businesses will always have a time-bound urgency scarcity offer happening, rolling to initial customers, right? They'll always have that rolling. And that's something that you need in your business. And that's why in our last conversation, we talked about doors open and doors closing for courses, and why actually closing access to your course will generate you more sales than leaving your course open for anyone to join it whenever they want. Because once those doors close and they can't get it again, it puts them to a decision point. It forces them to actually make a decision. Most people believe that taking no action isn't a decision, but procrastination is a decision. You are choosing to take no action, but most people don't understand. Every time you take no action, you are choosing that outcome. what scarcity and urgency does is it shows them that actually their lack of action is a decision that they're making, and that they will then have to live with that decision either way. And by doing that, you therefore push them into an actual decision-making mindset and force them to make an actual decision on something, which creates sales. And I say this not just from a sales perspective, also from a transformational perspective. You're a coach, you want people to help them help themselves, right? We need to get them to actually make a decision about what they do. If you really want to help those people, you got to help them help themselves. You've got to help them come to a decision point. And I don't think most people are anywhere near aggressive enough on this. They don't want to say it. They don't want to say it. They just want to pussyfoot around the whole thing the whole time, and that's why they don't make any sales. Because they don't create a point where that person needs to buy or doesn't. They just kind of string people along indefinitely, adding value, and guess what? Nobody buys. This is why people don't make any money. Eventually, you've got to put a person to a decision point. Maria, as someone who runs sales calls, right? There's always a point in that sales calls where you're going to be going, are you in, are you out? I've explained everything. That's the pricing. That's how it works. That's the features. You've told me this is what you want. Are you in, are you out? And it's the same for marketing. You have to bring your leads to a in or out moment. And that's what things like one-time offers do. If you've got a funnel with a tripwire, then it goes, hey, on this landing page for one time only, you can get access to our membership for over $7. For under $7, you can't find it anywhere else, and this will not be available anywhere else. Right? That's that urgency element right there. It's putting people to a decision point. And all they need to do is, click one button and they're good to go. To give you an example of that, we launched our Reels Millionaire product yesterday. People are buying the course up front, and then the follow-up is a mastermind that they can join. It's called the Millionaire Mastermind. And if they have a button there that says, do you want to join our Millionaire Mastermind? This is a one-time offer. All you've got to do is click the button and you can join our mastermind. This isn't available anywhere else. That's the only way they can join the mastermind, is if they buy the course up front. And that's the only way that they can do it. Which is why so many people are converting into our mastermind. And our mastermind is a much, much higher offer. So the course itself is $997, but the mastermind is $997 monthly with a 3-month commitment. So the people that clicked that one button just paid us $3,000. So you get $997 on the front end, and then $3,000 for one button click on the back end. You see what I mean? So it's like, so you, in the moment when the decision is made and the opt-in is made, it's at that point that you need to then increase the cart value. So how do you do that? Within your funnel, you can of course do order bumps, which are like little add-ons at checkout, and then you can do upsells further down the funnel.
I was thinking, that's where the effectiveness of urgency and scarcity in marketing is rooted in the end, is in this psychological principles, right? If we think about fear of missing out, FOMO, loss aversion, instant gratifications, all of these are psychological principles that are strictly linked with how effective this, like scarcity and urgency strategies are. So it's always good to sort of understand, I would say, why is it that it works, and because then you know where to tap into. And I think the follow-up question is there any sort of ethical concern, to think about, because we are using these things in marketing to get where we want? Is there some sort of, ethical concerns we should be aware of?
You always want to do this in a way that is, appropriate to your tone of voice, how you interact, and how you do business. But for me, the ethical part for me is in the guarantees and the refunds and the customer service afterwards. That's really where the ethical part comes in. I'm quite happy to say, look, click this one button and, upgrade to buy a $2,000 course with one click of a button, and then they go yes. If they then email afterwards and say, I accidentally clicked the button and I don't want the course, I'm going to send them a refund back in a second. I'm not going to ask them any questions. No worries, here's the money back, whatever. That's fine. But for me, what I don't want to do is I don't want to shy away from all of that additional opportunity where they can take the relationship further because they chose to. And I'm not doing it because I have some hang-ups about, asking people for money, right? If you just walk along the street, you're going to see posters everywhere along the street that are asking you for money. You're going to see cars with adverts are written on the side of them that are asking you for money. You're going to go into a shop where someone asks you for money. You're going to go, every single item in that shop is going to be a price point asking you for money for the thing. I think we all need to realize that we live in a world where asking for money is how we talk to each other. It is the conversation that we use. I give you something, you give me the money for the thing. That's the offer. That's interaction. That's conversation. You know, we live in a capitalist world. Like everything is, almost everything is a monetary transaction. Almost everything. I mean, my kids go to Cubs, you know, and it's just this little fun club that they go to where they learn how to do outdoor activities. And, you know, every couple of weeks they email us asking us for subs and donations to help this thing running. It's like you have to be able to ask people for money. If you can't ask people for money, you know, you're really, really going to struggle in business, because ultimately the business is money. And what happens is the people that are afraid to ask for money, what they do is they end up making their pricing way too cheap and giving away way too much, and then making no money but still being absolutely overworked. So it's like, oh, you know, do you want a coaching session with me? Yeah, you know, it's $47 for an hour of my time, you know. And I see that all the time. I'm like, dude, why are you charging $47 for an hour of coaching? That's crazy. How is that sustainable? You know, and they're like, oh yeah, but I don't want to ask for too much. Well, you know, you're just going to get stuck in the loop. So, you know, you got to offer people the opportunity. For me, I'll offer anyone anything with satisfaction guarantee. That's fine. If it's not for you, that's cool.
Super interesting. And now going back to what you said over there, that, you know, your product right now, Reels Millionaire 2.0, is $997, I think you said. And then you can opt in for the mastermind, which is a 3 months minimum commitment, which is another, let's say, $3K. What's the strategy there? Like, because many people may put out an offer and they stop there, but I can see clearly that maybe most of the money for you will come from the mastermind. So can you tell us more about that, like the strategy, the mindset that goes into that, and how to, you know, make that upsell or make this work together?
I think any good business has a diverse range of incomes coming into it. Now, in theory, you could build one business on one product, you know, and generally what I recommend for people is build one business on one product. But that doesn't mean that the revenue streams for that one product can only be one specific thing. I.e., look, I've built a course, so all I do is sell this course every day, and so, you know, the only revenue I make is entirely tied to my course sales or not, right? What you should be doing is creating multiple revenue streams for your flagship product. So for us, we have a membership that is really low ticket, that uses content from our main product, Reels Millionaire, and then just gives them a little bit of that, and then they just pay $7 a month, $37 a month, and then they get little bits from us, bits and pieces. Then we have the Reels Millionaire course, which is $997, which they can buy, and then we can just sell that all day. And then behind that we have the mastermind, which is $997 monthly, which is recurring. So because we have each one of these different revenue streams, they all basically work from the same product. They're all basically derivatives of the same product. It's just that they are in different levels of engagement and commitment to that product. So for the people that just want to get started and learn a little bit and try out a few things and don't really have any money, there's a membership over there. Awesome, go join that. For the people that want the exact strategy and they want to take it on board and implement it themselves, you know, there's the main product. And for the people that want to go faster and accelerate themselves, there's the mastermind. But importantly, if we just sold the one-time only price for the course, then of course each month the growth of the business would be directly tied to how many course sales we have. Whereas because you have the mastermind, which is recurring, you know, having 20 people on a mastermind is $20,000 a month, and it's only an hour a week worth of calls to be able to make $20,000 a month. So it's scalable, or at least, you know, it's sort of semi-scalable in itself, because in theory we could run multiple calls, and we're considering that. We might run 5 of the same mastermind, and it's just a 1 hour call each day with 20 people in each one. That's $100,000 a month for 4 hours a week work. It's like the numbers pass themselves out relatively easily. So that as we then push the course sales then create more recurring income on the back end. So for every sort of 5 course buyers, we get 1 mastermind upgrade, and we'll increase that by DMing people and talking to people more. But, you know, so for every 5 course sales, we get 1 mastermind upgrade. So then the one-time sales are now creating recurring revenue on the back. The important thing to realize about this, of course, is not to create a rod for your own back and then trying to create all these layers of complexity and all these different tiers and so on and so on that you can't sustain and can't manage, and now suddenly, you know, you can't cope. For example, the membership, as we talked about in our last conversation, you know, memberships take a lot of work, you know, and they're there as an upgrade vehicle, but, you know, they take a lot of work. So you could do without that completely. But I do recommend I do strongly recommend, if you are selling courses, to create some kind of next tier up, which is more access to you and therefore them paying more money. Because there are lots of people that want, to go faster. There are lots of people that will have been watching your content for ages that want to get direct access to you and, that want to accelerate their journey, and that's what masterminds are for. What's important is you need to differentiate the two products. So, for example, on Reels Millionaire, for the one-time course buyers, we're doing weekly calls, but they will all be live broadcast Q&As. You'll never speak to us directly. You won't be on a Zoom. You won't speak to us directly, which will then create the scarcity that we talked about earlier. So by me doing a live broadcast to you, the course buyer, but you not being able to talk to me directly, now you're like, I really want to just talk to Dan. I really want to get Dan one-to-one. I really want to talk to Dan. And those people will upgrade to our mastermind. Yeah, so it's all about understanding where the scarcity and urgency goes. So the big, one funnel, like we've talked about, is, free training into Tripwire offer. Those work. They do work. They don't generate a huge amount of money, to be honest, but they can work. And if you're giving away free lead magnets, you may as well. The one that generates the most money, day in, day out, is a VSL funnel. So a VSL funnel was a video sales letter, which is 5 to 7 minute video that sits on a single landing page that promotes your high ticket product. Now, your high ticket product will generally be some kind of coaching product where you or your team work with that person. So the VSL video content will be largely you just walking through the problems that people have, what you do and how you work with people, the results that you get those people, and then an opportunity to book a call with you. And they're so crazy simple. We use them not just for ourselves, but for our clients. And, we have a script for our VSL now where, 30% of the people that visit that VSL page book a call. And so all you need to do is DM them and drop them, qualify them in the DM and then drop them a link, get them to watch the VSL that's, 5 to 7 minutes long, and then they go ahead and book a call. And particularly if you have appointment setters running or other people helping you scale your business, this is really, really big because they're great for appointment setters too, because the appointment setter can easily, just throw someone the link to the VSL and there's a few minutes and then they get the gist. The big problem that most people make, and I see this all the time, is they think that they should do a free training, which is like a 45-minute webinar that explains, everything that they know and then tells them about how to kind of get in contact with them. The problem being, nobody makes it to the end of these webinars. None of them. Look at your watch time. It doesn't happen. Maria, when was the last time you got a free webinar training and you made it to the end of the webinar? Have you ever watched to the end of a webinar on a free training? Ever? Right, so if your offer is at the end of the webinar after 40 minutes, and no one ever makes it to the end of the webinar, then guess what? You never made the offer. Which is why a 7-minute, no-nonsense VSL works great. And it's really easy to make. And it's a really simple landing page too. It's not like a big landing page with 50 different sections where I'm trying to convince you of absolutely everything with, hundreds and hundreds of words of sales copy and copywriting and designs and assets, animations and videos and all of this stuff. It's literally just a 7-minute video on a page with some screenshots of your testimonials and then an embedded calendar. That's the whole page. That's it. You'll get more appointments with a simple 5-minute VSL than you will for any other thing. Those people will come in and they'll have a really good sense of what your thing is actually about because they've actually taken the time to watch the 5-minute thing because it's only 5 minutes long. And so they'll then be much more primed to actually be able to buy from you. So the conversion rates and the sales calls will be much, much higher. And for us, these VSLs have been absolutely transformational for our business. Absolutely transformational. And they're not really even a funnel. They're just a one-page landing page. And the great news is you can even scale them in ads. So we've run VSLs to strangers and we're booking appointments for under $25 per person, which if you run ads, you'll know is an insanely low amount of money. So we're booking appointments for under $25 per person. We have about a 70% show up rate and then a 40% close rate. So when you do the numbers, essentially you end up spending about $200 to close $6,000. So do the math. That's the difference. Whereas these with a complicated funnel, it's like, I could run ads or come into my challenge. Everyone's doing this challenge and I'm running, session after session after session. And, they may or may not join the lives. They may or may not watch my course. They may or may not do the training. I'm DMing like hundreds and hundreds of people because I've got hundreds and hundreds of leads. I can't get anyone qualified. And then at the end of it, what are we doing? We're pitching them a high ticket program, aren't we? So what's the difference? And I do think people respond to just having the bullshit cut out and just be like, just making a really simple ad that's like, guys, this is what we do. This is us. This is what we do. This is our product. This is a 2-minute overview of what we do. If you want this, go over to this landing page, watch this short video. It's going to give you an in-depth guide on exactly how that works. And then if you're interested, you can book a call. The end. And I do think more and more people are responding to that positively nowadays because of all of the endless funnels and tripwires. Like, people are seeing through that stuff now. They know it's there. They know it's going to happen. They know it's there. They can see through it, Whereas if you are a high-ticket coach, a very, very simple VSL funnel is absolutely the way to go.
But I'm very curious then, because of course, you said it took you hours to get to this iteration of, program, course, mastermind, everything working, like you have a big audience. I'm wondering for someone maybe who doesn't have as much experience, who doesn't have such a big following, like what are the steps there? How is your strategy different for them? Like, how does that look for someone with a smaller audience and less experience?
Exactly the same. That's the beauty of VSLs, is they work for people with 100 followers. I've worked with guys that are closing $10,000 a month with under 1,000 followers, because all they need is 2 sales. They've got a high ticket product. All they need is 2 sales, and so they just need to send people to a VSL, and that's it. And then they close 40% of those people in the VSL. If you have a really, really small following, this is even better, because it's absolutely no nonsense down the line. And I think so many people equate their value against the number of followers that they have when they forget about all the experience that they've already gained. I've met people that have, 15 years of marketing experience, but only have 100 followers, genuinely believe they can't help people with marketing yet because they don't have enough followers. Well, what have you been doing for the last 15 years? You obviously have experience. Sell your experience. Sell whatever you've been doing in that time. Everyone has experience in something. Your follower count does not change the amount of experience you have. So, sell what you know. That's all you can ever do, is sell what you know. But what you shouldn't do is wait for months and years to get enough followers, thinking you're not allowed to talk about what you know until you have a certain number of followers. That's crazy. It's not like Coca-Cola wasn't selling anything before social media. All the companies that became billion-dollar companies before social media existed, based on networks and relationships. All the consulting firms, even the huge consulting firms, if you look at Accenture, how many followers do you think Accenture has? One of the biggest companies in the world. They sell marketing services. How many followers do you think Accenture have? Their consultants are selling marketing services. Those consultants within Accenture don't even have social media accounts. And they're selling multi-million-dollar contracts based on their experience. That's what you sell. You sell experience. You don't sell followers, you sell experience. Followers reinforce experience, assuming your experience is based on what your followers are about. Followers reinforce experience. They don't replace experience.
Okay, that makes sense. And now we were talking about the VSL funnel. So we have this landing page with a video, like a 5 to 7 minute video. What else? What else is part of the funnel?
That's literally it. As soon as they book the appointment, they're going to get some countdown emails to say, hey, the appointment's coming up in, 2 days, 1 day, 12 hours, 6 hours. And they'll get a whole bunch of reminders and text reminders. And then you can, as well, if you want to, send them some emails beforehand that just kind of showcase some of your case studies and testimonials and your results. But what you shouldn't do is drop those people into a big newsletter and then start hitting them with loads of marketing materials, because that's not what they opted in for. They opted in for a call and not to be part of your newsletter and to be hit with 1 million spam messages. So all you need to do in this funnel is just get them in and then drip them some reminders before the appointment, show them some of your testimonials up front. That's it.
Yeah, and I have a question. I feel like some others might have it too. How is this any different than a landing page then? Like, I know we started by saying the differences between funnel and landing pages, but how is this different than a landing page?
The VSL is a landing page. It is just a 1-page landing page. Yeah, but it's not a funnel in the sense that it doesn't have multiple steps. It only has 1 step. It's a 1-page, it's just a 1-page landing page. That's it. A funnel would be something with multiple steps. It might have an initial opt-in, then a tripwire, and potentially an offer behind it. You can have funnels that, have multiple up and down sells within them as well. So in theory, let's say we took our Reels Millionaire funnel. So, they get the option to buy the course. Then they buy the course at the checkout. Then they get an option to buy the Millionaire Mastermind. In theory, I could put another upsell behind that. Like, and we thought about it. We were like, well, is there a $10,000 product we could sell them after that for the people that buy? But you could also put downsells after they reject the upsell. So let's say you're like, well, here's the Reels Millionaire course. You've just bought that. Would you like to join the mastermind for $997 a month? No, I wouldn't. Oh, okay. We have a mini mastermind that's $400 a month. Do you want to join that instead? Yes, actually, that's more affordable. I'll join that instead. So you can do multiple upsells and downsells within a funnel, and you can go as far as you want. But I don't recommend doing too many because obviously people don't like it, and it gives the wrong impression. So just like a 5-step funnel is enough. Landing page, checkout, upsell, potentially downsell, then a thank you page.
So there cannot be a funnel without an upsell or a downsell. It would just be called a landing page.
If they're buying, I don't think you should ever have a funnel without an upsell, except for an appointment funnel.
All clear now.
Yeah. Because why wouldn't you? They've just opted into your ebook. Like, why aren't you offering them something? For an appointment, it's different because the upsell is the actual sales call, right? So appointment is different. But for anything else, stick something in there. But those are the only 2 funnels that you need. You don't need a challenge funnel. You don't have to have a big group funnel. You don't need all of these value ladders and marketing systems and so on and so on. All you just need, if you're selling high ticket, just literally push them into an appointment and then close them on a sales call. If you're selling low ticket, just make a simple low ticket landing page with an upsell behind it. That's it. That's literally all we need. That's what we run our whole business on. It doesn't need to be any more. Once you get those working, then you can look at something else. But the important thing to remember with all of these funnels is the money isn't in the funnel format. The money is in the optimization of the funnel. So if I have an appointment funnel and it's not getting very many appointments booked in it, I'm not going to change my whole business, turn my whole business around and make a whole different funnel. I'm just going to keep adjusting that funnel until the conversion rate is higher. And if I have a lead magnet funnel, I'm not going to, and no one wants it, I'm not going to change the whole funnel and make a whole bunch of new stuff. I'm just going to keep optimizing the landing page until they do want it. I need to change the offer of whatever the lead magnet is. I need to change the wording. I need to change, tiny things can make a huge difference. Just the location of a button can add 20% onto your landing page conversion rate. Literally just by moving a button from one place to another can make a massive, massive difference on the back end. Huge. And you've got to test that stuff. You have to test it. And the best way to do that is of course, A/B test against stuff. So you're like, you know what? Like, oh, this landing page isn't converting well. Don't go, well, they must hate me. They must hate my course. My course is all wrong. I need to go build a whole new course because they hate everything about me and they hate everything that I've done. Start again. It's like, don't do that. Just run another version of the landing, split test it and see whether that does better. And lastly, landing pages are an incredible place to test out offers. We talked about building offers in one of our last calls. Landing page is an awesome way to do that. So what I often do is I'll take one landing page and of course the offer is along the top. It's that big bar along the top. Like, this is the thing you're going to get. And then I'll clone that landing page and all I'll do is I'll change the offer along the top to word it slightly, and then I'll test the conversion rate between those 2 landing pages, and that will test out different offers for me. So again, for you, if you're like, well, Dan, I don't know what the offer for my course should be, well, just make a landing page with a freebie on it and keep adjusting the offer until you find the one that gets the high conversion rate, and then there you go. You just test it, test this stuff out and see what happens. There's no right or wrong answer, and these things evolve over time.
And because we spoke, we started with scarcity and urgency, and now we were talking about optimizing the funnel and the landing pages. Are there any specific, when you say urgency or scarcity, what are those terms that work? For example, like 24 hours, is it like 1 week? Like, what are the specific key terms that you use to get that result?
To push the scarcity. Yeah, so there's the doors open, doors close element of your course, i.e., we only take on so many students a month or whatever, and doors will close on such and such a date. So there's that. You could put that on the page. You could put a discount, and it's like a one-time only discount, or it's a discount that's only available in the one specific place where they're at right now. You could put a limited number of students. So yes, you can do doors open, doors closed by time, but you could also do limited number of students. So you can update your landing page saying 3 spots remaining, 2 spots remaining, 1 spot remaining. So then you've got, more urgency there. You could put countdown timers on the landing page. They're very, very effective. And they kind of go, this is only available for, and they just have a ticking clock. Strictly speaking, they don't change the scarcity of the product, but they remind people that scarcity exists with a little countdown at the top. And they do really work. I've tested pages pages with and without countdown timers, and they do make a difference in the overall conversion. You could also have scarcity with a number of bonuses that they could get that are only available for a certain amount of time, or a monetary discount that's only available for a certain amount of time as well. Or you can increase scarcity simply by results. So you could be like, look, this is the only program that does this. And that's something that we really, really pushed on. And you probably would have read on the Reels Millionaire landing page. We ramped up the scarcity and the urgency by 1,000 on that landing page because our Reels Millionaire process is so proven. We literally just went all in with that and really ramped that up. So if I read just from, the first few passages of the landing page, the second sentence is the most proven, most successful program for going viral ever, period. That's literally the second sentence on the page. That's scarcity, as in there is nothing else like. Okay, it's not scarcity as in you have to right now, but it's scarcity as in this is the only thing that's actually works, the only thing that's actually going to do the thing that you work. And then literally the next paragraph is, we get it, you've tried Reels courses before and they didn't work. What you don't need is another course from someone who dances and mimes teaching you to do random shit without committing to a specific result, right? So that's scarcity and has no case studies to show their results. What you do need is a proven system for making millions of views with expert content. One that's so successful it's worked in 30 niches and created 500 million views and 2 million followers and has the case studies to prove it. That's scarcity. I.e., this course is nothing like all the other courses. All the other courses you've done are not proven. This course is proven. It is the only proven course that is out, and it's the best one. Now, when I then combine that with a one-time offer on the launch landing page, which is $150 off on launch day only, and the fact that doors will close on this thing, now it becomes super fair, super scarce. Because it's the only course that works, it's the only course that's proven, it's the only course with the case studies and results that it does. It's also, $150 now on the landing page only, and doors will only be open for 2 weeks. So are you going to do it or not? Because you can take a look at all the other courses and they don't work, and they don't, and here's the results, and here's the proof. So you're going to do it or you're going to not. It doesn't always have to be so direct. Scarcity can just be in the quality of whatever they're purchasing. It's like, well, this is the only proven one that's done it.
What if I'm not Dan Thomas and Travis Brown and I have this crazy results? Like how can I apply that to my case where I don't have that much social proof that yet?
Well, this is why, and like we've talked about in previous calls, this is why I always say to people, your number one focus for your business should be student results. Because I get to say this stuff because our entire focus has been getting these results. They didn't just happen. Our entire business is geared around getting results from the things that people purchase from us. And that's why I get to say things like that. Now, if you're in the early days, of course, you won't be able to be as bullish about scarcity as this because you won't have those results. So your focus should be, with the students you already have, get those people specific result. Okay, and then when they do get those results, get those testimonials, get those screenshots, get those case studies, push those people to actually, acknowledge that you helped, right? Because people don't. I mean, we get people literally millions of results and they won't send us case studies, and they're like, well, we just do it anyway. We just publish their stuff anyway. It's like, well, look, I don't need your permission to show the public data, which is, your public tracking, your public journey, all of that stuff, right? So a lot of the stuff that you make, a lot of the results you get for your students, you can share whether the student gives you permission or not. Assuming it is public information, you can share it, right? And then I always say, look, ask for forgiveness, not permission. Share it at first, because you worked hard to get them those results. So really focus on getting those results. And if you're right in the very, very early stages, show the results through your own experience. You will have lots of results from your previous experience. Maybe you've worked for big companies before. Maybe you've done some really, really significant things before. Maybe those things don't directly align with your current offer, but that's okay. When I first started, I worked in retail and I was doing a lot of poster and marketing campaigns for banks in retail. None of those were particularly aligned with growing a social media following, but the capabilities within that transferred over. I could do graphic design, I could do posters, I could do copywriting, I could do a whole bunch of stuff that hadn't yet got me a bunch of followers on social, so I couldn't say that, but I could, I was still a better copywriter than even people that have hundreds of thousands of followers. So you're always going to have something that you're better at someone else at. It might not be the whole picture, but whatever it is, you can leverage that to really strong results. If you're a really good copywriter, then develop a product which is helping people, make better offers. You know, if you're a good designer, develop a product which is helping people make awesome looking carousels. If you're a good editor, make people, you know, help people make cool videos. You know, if you're good at making money, just make a product that helps people make money. Just make products around something that you're really good at, and then you'll already have a whole bunch of case studies. And you'd be surprised, you really don't need a lot of case studies to make a lot of money. I mean, I'm talking literally one or two, not a lot. You know, very, very few. We have stupid amounts of case studies, but you know, that's kind of to prove a point, you know, but you don't need many. Literally one or two case studies is enough to make a lot of money. And a lot of guys that I know that make multiple millions of dollars a year only really have a handful of case studies. Not because they're not getting those results for people, they are. It's just that they realize that, you know, with case studies, there comes a point when you have enough and you don't actually need to showcase anymore. If you look at our landing page, I'm like, we've got more case studies than that, but you know, there's like 20 case studies on there, and it's like, you know, I proved my point, right? You only need one or two case studies to prove your point. So just put all your attention into making it happen. You are a coach. That should be your obligation, is to get people a result. That is what you do. So if you're like, well, Dan, I don't have any case studies. Well, you know, that's your job. You know, go do your job. Go get some case studies, because that's your job. You know, you're a coach. That's, you know, your entire job is to create a transformational outcome for people. So, you know, focus your time and energy on that. And then that will then, you know, massively ramp up. Not just in your sales and your conversion rates on landing pages and so on, but it will also ramp up your referrals. A lot of our business works on referrals. A lot of the guys that, you know, have gone through our system, refer it to other people, they get a nice affiliate bump, and then, you know, they bring on new customers because they know it works. You can build, you know, a 7-figure business on referrals only. Again, assuming you focus on student results. So just focus on getting people the results.
I love it, and it's empowering. Now, then, we talked about a lot of things. If we were to summarize the main points, main lessons from today, what would those be?
The lesson is, keep it simple. Think about the user journey and the customer journey, and think about what you're trying to get from that person, and get there as simply as possible. Look, if all you want them to do is buy your high ticket product, you do not need 50 steps for them to go through to do that. You just put a call together and close them, and that's easy, right? Whereas all of this other complexity, it's well intended, but for most people it's procrastination. Oh, I need a challenge funnel, and I need this, and I need this, and this. It's all just procrastination, right? The lesson is, keep it simple, and anytime there's an opportunity to increase the value of that customer for your business, use it. That's it. That's it.
Hope you enjoyed this episode.
We'll be releasing every Wednesday, so make sure to
Subscribe
and rate us 5 stars where you're listening to this show to give others a chance to discover it too.